Hello and welcome back to another edition of the MCR. To my right is TJ. My name is Mac, and we are the MCR. And if you don't know, that stands for Michigan Conservative Roundtable. We're an alternative media outlet telling you what the mainstream media won't tell you, and we often report on what they won't report. So I came across this story on Just the News, and it's written by Ben Whedon, who's an editor and reporter for Just the News. And he's got an article about some things that are on this alleged tape that they have. It's an audio recording of former President Trump, and he appears to contain a discussion of his possession of classified materials and his belief that he had not declassified at least one of the documents that he had. Well, that amounts to an admission of guilt to the charge of having the documents. Now, Joe Biden had the documents. Mike Pence had the documents. And they decided not to prosecute either of them. Also, it's known that President Obama has upwards of 60,000 of these documents, but he's just the magic skin color, so they're not going to even approach him. So the DOJ, Merrick Garland, is out to get President Trump. We all know this. If they can convict him of a crime and maybe do a plea deal where he doesn't run for president. And folks, you need to think about that happening, because if any of this is right that this man is reporting on, he's probably going to get convicted, especially when they try him in places where he's got a hostile jury, a hostile judge, a hostile prosecutor. Any thoughts so far?
My fear is, as it doesn't matter how legitimate the accusation is, he may have given them enough to get caught.
Yeah, that's the thing in New York is bullshit. We know the thing in Georgia is bullshit. They're looking for others beyond those to keep him tied up with court cases and to diminish his reputation with the public. Because a lot of people think, well, if he's getting indicted, where there's smoke, there's fire, because they can't think past the end of their nose. This was allegedly said in a conversation with that piece of shit chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, over attacking Iran. Apparently, Milley had a untamed follicle up his anal orifice about attacking Iran. Of course, we know President Trump is an anti-war person and only was doing what was necessary throughout his presidency to contain terrorists, but he wasn't looking for any wars. Allegedly, the president said, "See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't. But it's still a secret," he continued. Trump goes on to note that the document is highly confidential and asserts that it wins my case. You have to hear what that document was about to get a full understanding. But Jack Smith indictment is related to his mishandling of classified documents, as we know, and is expected to play a key role in the prosecution's case. Trump has previously contended that he did not possess the classified material. So if he's saying he did, it's a de facto admission of guilt. But again, and you know what? If he did it, he did it. He shouldn't have done that, and I can't defend it. However, as we've talked about so many times, this two-tier justice system that we got going on.
Theory and conjecture, but and I listen to Dan Bongino a fair amount. Dan Bongino made the case. Okay, what was the document? What did the document say? What exactly was the document? And if they can't exactly say what the document is,
then they can't prove their case.
But what if they can? What if they can identify the document? What then?
If I throw a billion darts at you from across the room, I'm going to hit you with some of them. Nobody's perfect. And, when you sit behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, I don't know how you can't be arrogant. My head would swell like a balloon, I'm sure.
The whole thing of don't give them even the shreddest bit of validity. That's the hazard.
Right.
And you know what?
And I fear that may have happened here.
And he gave it to him. as to how justified this accusation, this charges. You know what? Until you see the document, you don't know. But you know
I have
what?
no doubt. Let's say he gets convicted in this case and goes to prison. I have no doubt he would still get tens of millions of votes. But I also don't believe he would win against virtually anyone.
There's that term probable cause. Well, he sure served it to them.
By keeping the documents.
Probable cause doesn't mean you'll be found guilty.
And so
all it does is
people might say, why are they after him? It's not about what he did. It's about what they did. And he knows what they did.
Yeah.
And that's the whole problem with his administration last time. He knows what they did. Hillary Clinton is famous saying, if this SOB gets elected, we'll all hang. Now, why would she say that?
There is, as I like to theorize, there is the theory that ultimately that might get him off, because to identify whatever this document is most likely leads to Barack Obama. And
but we know Barack Obama's untouchable.
Well,
we know Michelle Obama is untouchable. I could sit here and make an argument that Hillary and Bill Clinton are untouchable, especially when the fix is in, when you have a revenge-seeking attorney general who ought to be impeached, by the way, but Kevin McCarthy doesn't have the gonads to do that.
Well, only time will tell as to how this plays out.
Yeah, so you might be wanting to think about some kind of backup candidate. That's all I can say.
Well, I've always wondered if that isn't why DeSantis is in the race.
Yeah, he could easily drop out, no harm, no foul, write a book as former presidential candidate, because that's why a lot of people run for president, so they can gain that little title. But he might be doing it just as an insurance policy. So all you DeSantis bashers out there going along with shit the left makes up, and it is the left making it up. It's not just Trump being Trump saying, calling him Lion Ted, or, bashing anybody who dares oppose him. Don't burn the bridge while we're still on it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, really.
So with that, I guess we'll wrap it up, TJ, with what we always say: be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.